Good afternoon, friends. My name is Lissa. Welcome to my channel. If you are new here, thank you for clicking on this video and joining us today. I hope that you like what you see and that you stick around for a while. If you have been here before, thank you so much for your support. It truly means the world to me. It is currently Saturday, December 17th, 2022, and it is 12:05 p.m. Today, we are going to go through my book reviews for November. So go on, get yourself a cup of coffee, glass of wine, fill up those water jugs, and let's get to it. So I want to start off by saying this was a terrible book month for me. I don't know if it was like my lack of focus or if it was the material that I was trying to read, but I only finished 3 books. And 2 of them were children's books. And one of them I had started in July. I'd only gotten a third of the way through, but still technically I only really read like 1 full adult book, if you put it all together, this month. Typically not like me. Anyway, I can make excuses for days. This is what I did this month. December is probably not going to be much better, to be honest with you. Let's get to the 3 books that I read. Okay, so the first book that I read this month was a Little People, Big Dreams book. It was Amanda Gorman. This book was written by Maria Isabel Sanchez Vegara. It was 17 pages. It's a picture book. It was published in 2022. Let's see. The genre I would peg as like picture books, children's, even nonfiction or biography. Growing up with a speech impediment and an auditory processing disorder, Amanda had hills to climb. Through poetry, she found her voice and became America's first youth poet laureate. After reciting a poem at President Biden's inauguration, the audience was moved by Amanda's unifying words, and she became a shining light for the whole world. This inspiring story of the poet's life features a fact and photo section at the back. It does. It's a great book. The Goodreads rating is 4.19 stars. There were 146 ratings. My rating is going to be a 5. And that's because, maybe it's because it was my first Little People, Big Dreams book. And first and foremost, I loved reading this book with Fiona. We read it on Zoom together. We stopped every few pages and talked about it. So overall, I thought that this book was really well written. It really engages kids as well as held my attention. Made me excited to it as well to read about her life. It's really like a broad overview of her life, but it made you really want to learn more about her and really be inspired by her. All right, book number 2 was also a children's book, also inspired by Fiona. This is Magic Treehouse, the first book of the series, Dinosaurs Before Dark, written by Mary Pope Osborne. This book has 68 pages, and it was published in 1992. The genre is children's, but it's also a chapter book, fiction, adventure, fantasy. There's a mysterious treehouse in the woods. Before Jack and Annie can find out where it came from, the treehouse whisks them back to the prehistoric past. Now they have to figure out how to get home. Can they do it before dark, or will they become a dinosaur's dinner? It says ages 6 through 9. The Goodreads rating was 3.96 stars. There were 38,793 ratings. My rating would have to be a 3. I read it because Fiona asked me to, and when she comes for Christmas, I can't wait to talk to her about it because she's already read the whole series. And she talked me into buying the whole series because if you know me, then you know that I am an auntie who cannot say no to her nieces and nephews. Within reason. That's why they call me an auntie corn. Anyway, more on that later. The concept was great. Like, I loved the idea of this magic treehouse that whisks you away to a different time to experience adventures. I thought that was like a brilliant concept. But the execution, to me, and I do understand that I'm an adult and this is a children's book, but it wasn't thrilling. Like, children's books should still grip your attention, sometimes even more so than adult books, because children's attention spans are a little bit flightier, if you will. So overall, I was not all that impressed. I know a 3 is kind of like an average rating. For me, it's pretty bad. So yeah, I'm not totally looking forward to the second book of the series. I bought the whole series. I think it's like 38 books, so I'm going to read them all. This was not my favorite. Stay tuned for the next part in the Magic Treehouse series. And then my one and only adult book for the month. I read Schindler's List by Thomas Keneally. 429 pages. It was published in 1982, which is actually one of the reasons why I read this book. I had seen the movie way back when I was 13 in, I think it was like Hebrew school or something. And the movie was shocking. And then I wanted to read the book, and one of my book challenges for this year was to read a book from the year that you were born, and I was born in 1982. So I Google searched books that were published in 1982, and this was the first one. So the genre is history, nonfiction, war, classics. Based on a true story, this extraordinary novel tells how German war profiteer and factory director Oskar Schindler came to save more Jews from the gas chambers than any other single person during World War II. In this milestone of Holocaust literature, Thomas Keneally uses the actual testimony of the Schindler Jews to brilliantly portray the courage and cunning of an ordinary man striving to do good in the midst of unspeakable evil. The Goodreads rating for this book was 4.34 stars, and that's with 155,722 ratings. My rating is going to be a 4.5. It was very well written. Very, very, very well written, to the point where I had to take breaks. While I am morbidly fascinated with the Holocaust, this book was so dark that I had to put it down for a while. I started it in July, I guess right around my birthday. Great time to start a really dark, depressing book. But I started it right around my birthday, and I read maybe like 70 pages before I had to put it down, and I didn't pick it back up until November. Even then, I had to take breaks. It's very depressing. It's true. I think that's one of the main things, is that it's a true story, and that makes it very hard to read how people were treated, how people treated other people. Goes without saying, was just horrific. In my opinion, this book is a must read. It's probably going to go on my permanent shelf, but it is really, really sad. It's not for the faint of heart. So since that book review was super short because I didn't read that much, there were some questions on my last book review that I thought that I would just answer in this video. How fast do I read? So I'm really not a very fast reader. In fact, I have a lot of problems with reading comprehension. Sometimes I have to read things multiple times just to understand what's happening. I'll read a page and then I'm like, wait a second, let me go back, and I'll reread it. I don't read all that fast, but I do read every single day because I really, really enjoy it. So that brings me to my reading routine. I love to read, and my favorite times to read are going to probably be before bed. Anytime I like to try to decompress, get out of my brain, what have you. When the new year starts, I would love to start reading in the mornings also. I'd like to take some time to do a little bit of journaling in the morning, as well as read my book to kind of get set for the day. How do I choose my books? Mainly recommendations from family or friends. I also watch a few book talkers and booktubers. Book talkers and booktubers are people who go on YouTube and TikTok and just review books or talk about upcoming new releases their favorite authors, their favorite series. So those are fun for recommendations. I'm not always into what they're reading. I do like to switch from genre to genre, and I'm not so much a romance or like rom-com fan. Every now and again I do like them, but I really am more of a nonfiction fan. I like reading biographies, autobiographies, based on a true story, accounts, that kind of thing. Thank you so much for coming by. I hope that you enjoyed hearing about the minimal books that I read this month, or read in November. Also liked hearing about my reading routines and habits. If you have any other questions, I would love for you to leave them down below in the comments. Also, if you guys want to leave your favorite series, authors, books, like I said, I'm always looking for recommendations. I truly love hearing your thoughts and your feedback and your questions back to me. However, as always, let's make sure that we're being kind and constructive in the comment section. My hair is wild. Okay. It's a little bit better. Please take a minute to hit the thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so that you're alerted every time I upload new videos. Leaving comments, liking, and subscribing are great ways for you to support me and my channel. Plus, it's free. I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you had a good week. Make sure you're taking care of yourselves. I'll see y'all next time. Have a stupendous Saturday. Toodles.